Chosen ones. Why they're destined to walk alone. The truth. Have you ever wondered why the most spiritually awakened souls often find themselves walking through life completely alone? Why those who carry the brightest inner light seem to repel everyone around them? Tonight, we unveil a profound truth that will change everything you thought you knew about spiritual isolation. What I'm about to reveal will explain why your loneliness isn't a curse, but a sacred sign of your divine calling. If you've found yourself questioning why meaningful connections feel impossible to maintain, why potential partners seem to vanish the moment they truly see you, or why your circle grows smaller as your consciousness expands, then this message was divinely orchestrated to reach you tonight. The universe has a mysterious way of preparing its chosen vessels. And if you're watching this, you're no ordinary soul. You carry within you an ancient light that most cannot comprehend, let alone embrace. This light, this divine frequency you emit, creates a phenomenon that few understand but many experience. Perhaps you've noticed how animals gravitate toward you, sensing your pure energy field. Children stare at you with knowing eyes, recognizing something familiar yet indefinable. Strangers feel compelled to share their deepest secrets within moments of meeting you. These aren't coincidences. These are manifestations of your spiritual signature broadcasting at frequencies most humans can barely perceive. But with this gift comes a price. The same light that draws souls seeking healing also repels those carrying shadows they're not ready to face. Your very presence becomes a mirror, reflecting back the unhealed wounds and suppressed truths that others desperately try to hide from themselves. Tonight, we journey into the 7 mystical reasons why enlightened souls often traverse their earthly path in solitude. These aren't merely psychological explanations. These are spiritual laws that govern how divine energy interacts with the unconscious masses. Each reason we explore tonight will not only validate your experience, but provide you with the sacred understanding needed to transform your isolation into empowerment. The energetic drain phenomenon. The first mystical law reveals why chosen souls often retreat into solitude. Your energy signature operates on frequencies that most humans cannot naturally sustain. When ordinary consciousness encounters your elevated vibration, it creates an unconscious magnetism that's both beautiful and dangerous. Think of yourself as a spiritual powerhouse, constantly generating high-frequency energy that heals, inspires, and elevates. When others enter your energetic field, they experience a natural high, a sense of peace and clarity they've never known. But here's the mystical truth most don't understand. They cannot generate this energy themselves. They can only consume it. This creates a parasitic dynamic where others unknowingly feed from your spiritual reservoir. Family members suddenly feel better after spending time with you, but you feel inexplicably drained. Friends seek your company when they're struggling, absorbing your light, then disappear once they feel restored. Romantic partners bask in your radiance, becoming dependent on your energy to maintain their emotional stability. What makes this particularly challenging is that most energy vampires operate unconsciously. They don't intentionally drain you. They simply cannot help themselves. Your light acts like a spiritual magnet, drawing those who are energetically depleted. But unlike true spiritual exchange, where energy flows both ways, these connections become one-way transfusions that slowly empty your reserves. Over time, your soul recognizes this imbalance and begins to instinctively protect itself through isolation. You start declining invitations without knowing why. You feel exhausted after social gatherings that should have been enjoyable. Your body begins to physically react to certain people, creating headaches, fatigue, or even illness when exposed to energy vampires for extended periods. The universe demands energetic equilibrium. Until you encounter another soul operating on similar frequencies, relationships become nothing more than spiritual charity work. Your higher self knows this and creates circumstances that force solitude. protecting your energy for more aligned purposes. This is why many awakened souls choose solitude over connection. It's not antisocial behavior, it's spiritual self-preservation. The loneliness you feel is temporary discomfort that prevents permanent energetic depletion. The burden of spiritual sight. The second mystical law concerns the lonely burden of those who can truly perceive. Chosen souls possess an innate ability to see beyond the veils that blind ordinary consciousness. You can peer into the shadows of human nature, sense hidden motivations, and perceive spiritual truths that remain invisible to most. This gift manifests in countless ways. You can sense when someone is lying before they even speak. You feel the emotional turbulence in a room the moment you enter. You perceive the karmic patterns playing out in others' lives, seeing clearly the lessons they're unconsciously resisting. You witness the spiritual battles raging beneath surface-level conversations, recognizing the deeper meanings behind seemingly casual interactions. But this profound sight comes with an isolating price. You become a spiritual counselor by default, as people unconsciously sense your ability to see truth. They bring you their problems, seeking guidance and clarity that only your elevated perception can provide. You offer profound insights, drawing from wells of ancient wisdom and spiritual understanding that seem to flow through you effortlessly. Yet when you need counsel, comfort, or understanding, you discover that most people simply cannot access the levels of consciousness required to truly help you. They offer surface-level advice for soul-deep problems. They provide temporary solutions for eternal concerns. They see symptoms while you perceive root causes spanning multiple lifetimes. This creates a paradox of spiritual loneliness that few understand. You become a lighthouse for lost souls, guiding them through their darkest nights. Yet you yourself navigate treacherous waters with little external guidance. The depths of your spiritual needs remain unmet because so few have descended into the mysteries you've explored. Friends and family often misunderstand your struggles, offering platitudes when you need profound wisdom. They suggest conventional solutions for unconventional problems. They cannot comprehend the weight of carrying ancient knowledge, the responsibility of seeing truth when others prefer illusion, or the exhaustion that comes from constantly translating spiritual insights into language that ordinary consciousness can grasp. This burden of sight also means you witness suffering that others cannot perceive. You see the spiritual sickness underlying physical diseases. You perceive the generational trauma patterns destroying families. You recognize the collective shadows poisoning society. This constant awareness of pain and dysfunction can be overwhelming without proper support from those who share similar perceptions. The sacred wound healing process. The third mystical law reveals why solitude becomes necessary for spiritual transformation. Chosen souls carry within them ancient karmic imprints, soul wounds that span lifetimes. These spiritual scars must be healed in the crucible of solitude, away from the energetic interference of others. Your soul chose this incarnation knowing it would involve intensive healing work. Before birth, you agreed to transmute not only your personal karma, but also ancestral patterns, collective shadows, and even planetary trauma. This is why chosen souls often experience more suffering than seems fair. You're processing pain that extends far beyond your individual experience. During planetary shifts and consciousness upgrades, these buried wounds resurface with intense magnitude. Past life traumas suddenly feel as fresh as yesterday's experiences. Childhood imprints activate with overwhelming emotional intensity. Generational patterns that you thought you'd transcended demand attention. And final release. This process requires a sacred container of solitude, where deep spiritual surgery can occur without external disruption. Imagine trying to perform delicate heart surgery in a crowded, noisy room. The healing work required by chosen souls demands similar precision and protection. Your higher self orchestrates periods of isolation to create this necessary healing environment. Your heightened sensitivity makes you a spiritual empath, absorbing energies from your environment like a mystical sponge. During healing phases, this sensitivity becomes overwhelming, requiring complete energetic isolation to process and transmute these ancient patterns without taking on additional burdens from others. The healing process itself can be intense and frightening for those who don't understand its spiritual significance. You might experience unexplained physical symptoms as your body releases trapped trauma. Emotions might surface with volcanic intensity, seemingly triggered by minor events but actually connected to deep karmic clearing. Dreams become vivid portals where you relive and resolve ancient conflicts. During these healing cycles, relationships often become impossible to maintain. Your energy is completely focused inward, leaving little available for external connections. Partners and friends might interpret this as rejection or abandonment, not understanding that you're undergoing spiritual metamorphosis that requires total energetic resources. The universe orchestrates these healing periods through relationship dissolution and social isolation. What appears as abandonment is actually divine intervention, creating the perfect conditions for your soul's metamorphosis. Every ending during this phase serves the greater purpose of clearing space for your authentic emergence. Before we continue unveiling these mystical truths, I want to invite you to join our sacred community of awakened souls. If this message is resonating with your spirit, subscribe to the Light of Wisdom channel and ring that notification bell. Your subscription helps spread these ancient teachings to other chosen souls who desperately need to hear them. Together, we're creating a network of light that spans the globe, supporting each other through these profound transformations. The Divine Timing Principle. The fourth mystical law governs the manifestation of soul-aligned relationships. The universe operates on divine timing that transcends human understanding, orchestrating connections with mathematical precision that considers countless variables invisible to ordinary perception. Your soulmate, your spiritual counterpart, is undergoing their own awakening journey in perfect synchronization with yours. While you're healing your wounds, they're healing theirs. While you're upgrading your consciousness, they're expanding their awareness. While you're learning to love yourself completely, they're discovering their own self-worth. This parallel development ensures that when you finally meet, you'll be matched not just in attraction, but in spiritual evolution. The universe protects you from premature connections that would interfere with this development. Have you ever noticed how promising relationships seem to self-destruct just when things get serious? How potential partners suddenly reveal deal-breaking incompatibilities? How circumstances conspire to keep you apart from people you thought you wanted? This isn't bad luck. It's divine intervention protecting your spiritual trajectory. Rushing into relationships before divine timing aligns creates karmic entanglements that impede spiritual progress. These misaligned connections can trap you in cycles of drama, codependency, and spiritual stagnation. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, creates obstacles that prevent these detours. Even when they feel like cruel rejections, your soul requires a partner who matches not just your human personality, but your spiritual frequency, your consciousness level, and your divine mission. Such souls are extremely rare, representing perhaps less than 1% of the population. They must possess the emotional intelligence to navigate your depth, the spiritual maturity to honor your journey, and the energetic capacity to match your vibration without being overwhelmed or intimidated. During this waiting period, the universe molds both souls like a master sculptor, chiseling away everything that isn't aligned with your highest potential. This preparation involves individual healing, spiritual advancement, and karmic clearing that cannot be rushed or bypassed. Every disappointment, every failed connection, every period of loneliness serves to refine your understanding of what you truly need in a sacred partnership. The divine timing principle also extends to friendships and soul-family connections. Those meant to walk alongside you on your spiritual path are being prepared just as carefully as romantic partners. They're learning lessons, healing wounds, and developing the consciousness necessary to support your mission and growth. Trust in this timing requires tremendous faith, especially during extended periods of isolation. But consider this: would you rather have a relationship now that limits your growth and dims your light, or wait for one that amplifies your divine purpose and celebrates your authentic self? The armor of past betrayals. The fifth mystical law concerns the spiritual armor forged through past betrayals and disappointments. Chosen souls, due to their trusting and empathetic nature, often experience profound betrayals that create protective barriers around their hearts. Your open-hearted nature makes you a target for those who would exploit spiritual gifts. You give freely, love deeply, and trust easily. Qualities that, while beautiful, can attract spiritual predators who sense your generous energy and seek to exploit it. These betrayals aren't random occurrences, but necessary experiences that teach discernment and spiritual protection. Each betrayal serves as initiation, strengthening your ability to distinguish between authentic souls and those wearing masks of deception. The pain creates wisdom, teaching you to recognize red flags that your innocent heart previously ignored. You learn to sense the difference between genuine love and manipulation, between authentic spiritual seekers and those who use spiritual language to control others. The wounds from these betrayals often run deeper than ordinary heartbreak because chosen souls invest their entire being in relationships. When you love with your soul, not just your emotions. When you trust, you share your deepest spiritual truths, not just surface thoughts. When these sacred offerings are betrayed, the pain penetrates to the core of your being. These experiences create a natural filtering system, making you incredibly selective about who gains access to your inner sanctuary. You develop what might seem like impossibly high standards, but these aren't ego demands. They're soul requirements born from hard-won wisdom. You'd rather be alone than compromise your spiritual integrity for the illusion of connection. The healing process involves learning to remain open-hearted while maintaining energetic boundaries. This delicate balance requires time, patience, and often extended periods of solitude for integration. You must learn to trust your intuitive discernment while not allowing past hurts to close your heart permanently. Sometimes the armor becomes so thick that even genuine love struggles to penetrate. You might find yourself sabotaging potentially beautiful connections because your wounded heart cannot believe that authentic love is possible. This creates a secondary layer of isolation, not just from those who would harm you, but from those who would genuinely cherish you. The key is learning to distinguish between protective wisdom and fear-based isolation. True spiritual discernment keeps harmful people at a distance, while remaining open to soul-aligned connections. This mastery takes time to develop and often requires professional healing support to navigate effectively. The preparation for divine mission. The sixth mystical law reveals that solitude serves as preparation for your greater spiritual mission. The universe has specific assignments for chosen souls, and these missions require extensive preparation that can only occur in isolation from the distractions and energy drains of ordinary relationships. During these preparatory phases, you're being spiritually upgraded, receiving downloads of ancient wisdom, and having your energetic system calibrated for higher service. Your consciousness is being expanded to hold greater truth. Your heart is being strengthened to carry more love, and your energy field is being purified to channel divine frequencies more clearly. These upgrades often happen during sleep, meditation, or quiet contemplative moments that would be interrupted by relationship demands. You need extended periods of silence to integrate the new information, process the consciousness shifts, and allow your entire being to align with your emerging mission. Your future mission may involve healing others on a massive scale, teaching spiritual truths to those ready to awaken, or anchoring higher frequencies on Earth during these times of global transformation. These responsibilities require complete spiritual alignment and unwavering connection to divine, guidance that cannot be developed while managing relationship dynamics. The universe removes distractions and complications from your life, creating a sacred cocoon where metamorphosis can occur. What feels like abandonment is actually divine protection, ensuring nothing interferes with your spiritual evolution. Every person who leaves during this phase, every opportunity that dissolves, every door that closes serves to redirect your energy toward preparation for your greater purpose. During this preparation period, you might receive visions, prophetic dreams, or sudden knowing about your life purpose. You might discover healing abilities, teaching gifts, or other spiritual talents that surprise you. You might feel drawn to study certain subjects, develop specific skills, or explore particular spiritual practices that seem unrelated to your current circumstances but are essential for your future mission. The solitude also serves to test your commitment and strength. Can you maintain your spiritual center without external validation? Can you trust divine guidance when human logic suggests different choices? Can you remain faithful to your path when others question your decisions? These tests prepare you for the challenges you'll face when serving others from your mission. Understanding this divine preparation transforms your perspective on isolation. Instead of viewing loneliness as punishment or evidence of unworthiness, you begin to see it as evidence of your spiritual importance. The universe doesn't invest this level of preparation in ordinary souls. Only those chosen for significant service receive such intensive development. The depth that intimidates. The seventh and final mystical law concerns the intimidating depth of your soul's wisdom and the way this depth naturally filters potential connections. As a chosen soul, you carry ancient knowledge and spiritual insights that can be overwhelming for those operating on lower frequencies. Your presence alone triggers awakening in others, forcing them to confront aspects of themselves they'd rather keep hidden. This unconscious discomfort causes many to instinctively distance themselves from your energy field, creating automatic filtering that protects both you and them from mismatched connections. When you speak, even about mundane topics, there's an underlying depth that makes others feel simultaneously drawn to and intimidated by your energy. You cannot engage in purely superficial conversation because everything connects to larger spiritual truths in your consciousness. A discussion about weather becomes a reflection on natural cycles. A conversation about current events reveals deeper patterns of collective karma. A casual chat about relationships unveils profound insights about soul connections and spiritual growth. This natural inclination toward profound conversations and authentic connection conflicts with society's preference for surface-level interactions. Most people lack the emotional courage to engage with the depths of truth you naturally navigate. They feel exposed and vulnerable in your presence, sensing that you can see through their carefully constructed personas to the truth beneath. Your authentic self is too intense for those who prefer to live in spiritual shallows. They sense that maintaining friendship with you would require them to face their own shadows, examine their beliefs, and potentially change their entire way of being. For those not ready for spiritual growth, your presence feels threatening rather than inspiring. This creates a natural selection process where only souls ready for authentic connection can withstand your spiritual intensity. While this dramatically limits your social circle, it ensures that those who remain are truly aligned with your essence and capable of supporting your journey rather than draining your energy. The depth of your soul also means you require connections that nourish your spiritual nature. Small talk feels like spiritual starvation. Superficial relationships feel like betrayals of your authentic self. You'd rather be alone than pretend to be less than you are to make others comfortable. This intensity can also manifest as an overwhelming passion for truth, justice, and spiritual evolution that others find exhausting. Your commitment to growth and authenticity can make others feel inadequate or judged, even when you have no intention of making them uncomfortable. They project their own spiritual insecurities onto your journey, interpreting your dedication as criticism of their choices. Deeper spiritual insights. What many don't understand about this spiritual depth is that it's not something you developed in this lifetime alone. You carry within your soul the accumulated wisdom of multiple incarnations, each one adding layers of understanding and spiritual insight. This ancient wisdom creates a natural authority and presence that others can sense, but not always comprehend. Your soul has experienced mysteries that most are not yet ready to explore. You've walked through spiritual initiations in other lifetimes that prepared you for the challenges you face now. This is why certain spiritual truths feel familiar rather than learned, why you have innate understanding of metaphysical principles, and why you're drawn to ancient spiritual practices that seem to remember you. This depth also means you're constantly processing multiple levels of reality simultaneously. While others see only surface appearances, you perceive the energetic patterns, karmic connections, and spiritual significance underlying every interaction. This multidimensional awareness enriches your experience but also makes you feel isolated in a world that operates primarily on single-dimensional thinking. The combination of ancient wisdom and multidimensional perception creates a unique consciousness that few can match or even understand. You're like a spiritual translator, constantly interpreting higher dimensional insights into language and concepts that three-dimensional consciousness can grasp. This translation work is exhausting and rarely appreciated by those who benefit from it. Integration and transformation. Understanding these 7 mystical laws transforms your relationship with solitude from suffering into empowerment. Each moment of loneliness becomes an opportunity for deeper self-connection. Every ended relationship becomes evidence of spiritual protection rather than personal failure. Every period of isolation becomes sacred preparation time rather than social punishment. The key to thriving during these periods of spiritual solitude lies in shifting your perspective from victim to victor. You're not alone because you're unlovable. You're alone because you're being prepared for love beyond ordinary comprehension. You're not isolated because you're broken. You're isolated because you're being healed and strengthened for greater service. Use this understanding to transform your solitude into a powerful spiritual practice. Instead of desperately seeking connections that drain your energy, focus on deepening your relationship with your own soul. Instead of lamenting your high standards, celebrate them as evidence of your spiritual evolution. Instead of viewing your sensitivity as weakness, honor it as the gift that allows you to serve others from a place of profound empathy and understanding. The mystical truth we've explored tonight reveals that your solitude isn't evidence of unworthiness. It's proof of your divine selection. The universe doesn't isolate ordinary souls for spiritual preparation. Only those chosen for greater purposes experience this sacred loneliness that transforms isolation into illumination. Your current experience of solitude is temporary, serving specific spiritual functions that prepare you for connections beyond ordinary human comprehension. Every moment of loneliness is forging you into a stronger, wiser, more spiritually aligned being capable of attracting and maintaining relationships that honor your divine nature. The relationships awaiting you on the other side of this preparation will surpass anything you've previously experienced. They will be built on spiritual recognition, energetic harmony, and divine purpose rather than mere human attraction or convenience. These connections will nourish your soul rather than drain it, celebrate your depth rather than fear it, and support your mission rather than distract from it. But perhaps most importantly, this journey through spiritual solitude is teaching you the most valuable lesson of all, that your worth, your happiness, and your spiritual fulfillment don't depend on external validation or relationships. You're learning to be complete within yourself, to find joy in your own company, and to trust the universe's timing even when it conflicts with human desires. This self-completion isn't selfish. It's essential. Only when you're whole within yourself can you enter relationships as a gift rather than a need. Only when you love yourself completely can you love others without attachment or desperation. Only when you trust your own spiritual guidance can you discern between authentic connections and beautiful illusions. Trust the process, honor the solitude, and know that your spiritual family is being prepared just as meticulously as you are. The universe never wastes the suffering of its chosen ones. It transforms every tear into wisdom, every disappointment into discernment, every moment of loneliness into deeper self-love. If this message illuminated the divine purpose behind your spiritual journey, honor it by subscribing to the Light of Wisdom and sharing this video with another soul who needs to hear these truths. Your engagement helps the algorithm carry this message to the chosen souls desperately seeking these answers. Leave a comment below sharing which of these 7 mystical laws resonated most deeply with your experience. Your story might be exactly what another awakening soul needs to hear to feel less alone on their journey. Remember, dear light-bearer, you are not alone in your aloneness. You are part of an ancient lineage of awakened souls who have always walked the path less traveled. Your time of sacred solitude is preparing you for a destiny more magnificent than you can currently imagine. Until we meet again in the next transmission of ancient wisdom, keep shining your light even in the darkness. The world needs your illumination now more than ever. Your solitude is not your punishment, it's your preparation for greatness.